Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here at Bitcoin, seeing what's going on. We've got some important stuff to talk about, some back-end data here that's quite interesting, as well as just some important factors that we want to kind of look at with overextension, and obviously if the price will either continue higher or lower from here, because that's really the question I get at the end of the day quite consistently. And again, as per usual, I like to teach you how to understand this stuff yourself instead of kind of giving you the answers. And it's not as clear, as dry as just saying, hey, it's going to go here and here's why. There's a lot of details that factor in, okay? And those are constantly changing each and every day, so make sure you're aware of that. If you want to be a good trader, honestly, the best thing to do is educate yourself and learn as much as you can. If you want to do that, cryptocash.tech is a website link down below. We have some new members coming over yesterday. Welcome aboard. Looking forward to working with you. Again, we have trading signals, community, and of course, my trading academy that teaches you kind of everything I know. All right, so what we want to look at here on the daily, first and foremost, because we discussed the weekly and the monthly recently, right? You kind of watched my weekly reviews, typically do that over the weekends. And what we did was we talked about this ascending trend here, right? Well, we're ascending positively until this trend discontinues. We're going to expect it to move forward in the upward direction. But generally speaking, between now and then, we got a lot of ground to cover. The price could literally come down and bounce, right? But the bottom line is we're not there yet. We do feel as if there's a pretty strong support in the 28 to 29,000 range, which we're seeing so far, starting to build that volume profile at the current price point, but still need a lot more volume here, right? We got this somewhat of a gap in this range here, and we need to kind of get that filled. And there is also, speaking of gaps, there's a fair value gap here that is almost filled. Lower 28,000, 28,400 would essentially fill that completely, okay? And what that basically is just this price increased way higher than it should have, and it cut above the previous high, basically established a higher high or effectively a new all-time high for that time frame, and effectively cause this gap here to occur, and the price will naturally come down to fill that, and typically will bounce from there. So a good buying point is a 28,300, 400 range. I got a pretty large buy order at 28.5 for my spot. Okay. Again, I'll continue to buy as the price goes down lower, but at this point, I think we could be in good shape, and we'll explain why. So let's talk about that. So on the daily, we want to look at a few key factors. First of all, we're still below 40, or correction, we're at 40, below 50 on the RSI. That's typically a case in point where we want to consider more bearish sentiment. We can see stochastics kind of trying to swing upwards, but we don't have enough momentum to do that, because obviously we've only had about 2 days worth of slightly higher highs and higher lows, okay? Price is trying to average itself out. We're kind of stuck at the 29,200 range, which is just fine because it appears to be somewhat of a support range at the current level. But when we take a look at the MACD, we're still diverging. So generally speaking, there's not a lot here that's like super awesome. The one thing I guess you could say that's fairly nice is the fact that we're treading water above the 50-day simple moving average. Now, notoriously, the 50-day SMA is one of those things where staying above it, bullish, going below, bearish. I wouldn't say that we are either one, right? I'm not bullish on Bitcoin right now. I still feel like we might see further downside, but that is holding us here in place for the moment, okay? That's kind of where we're at there. We can also see the 200 trailing behind at the 26,500 range. Again, it's moving, it's ascending positively with this trend line, right? So the key takeaway here is that as long as we stay above the 200, we should be in good shape. And I think we will, because it will take a lot of volume to get us down that low. I don't personally subscribe to the 25,000 or lower potential price point. I think that's less likely. Again, a lot of things, strange things can happen, but just based on the technical data, there's no reason to support that, okay? 4-hour time frame, what we can see here is a nice little ascending trend that just got broken pretty hard this morning, okay? So again, take a look at TD sequential, we came up to a 6, kind of retraced here down to a 2, so hypothetically, we could see another day or two's worth of continuation of the downside. So all the more reason not to take a long just yet. I'm be interested in the long position, possibly at the 29,000 range or lower, but once again, at this point, not feeling super confident about that, but let's see exactly if there's other factors as well. We got rejected by 50 on the RSI, that's standard stuff here. So we can see the price action pulling back. Stochastics coming down, money flow index is decreasing. So as money comes out, of course, selling pressure increases, the price goes down, and that's just inevitably how it works. I did skip over this, of course, but Bitcoin dominance is slowly decreasing as well, and we're getting closer to that previous resistance turn support level. So like right around 49%, low 49, upper 48 is roughly where we might see a bounce on Bitcoin dominance. And then alternatively, we may also see altcoin dominance decrease as well. There's an interesting little system with those things, and we'll talk about that later. I got some examples I can provide for you too. If you're kind of curious what that is, I'll maybe walk you through that. In fact, maybe I'll just make a completely separate video regarding Bitcoin dominance in the cycle there. But for lack of better terms, right now we're in a situation where dominance is coming down, price is coming down with it. Whales are active, and it's just one of those situations where we're seeing the price action come down, but it's kind of expected, right? We're not surprised by this at all. So that's the good thing about it, just to not be shocked. But on the same accord, liquidations happen, right? I mean, I even get those from time to time, which happened when we went down to 28,900. So again, little strange things happen. Please be sure to set the proper risk tolerance and use good risk management. Those are all things I teach in my trading academy. We have some consolation here, of course. This is not fantastic, but we are above the 20-day set moving average here, and we're maintaining above it so far. And that is averaging itself out at the 29,200 range. So right now, if you look at the volume of the most recent past here, we just only kind of consider the most recent volume. You can kind of see here that there is a stronger foundation of volume at the 29,200 range to 29,300. Okay, so that could provide a support level here at this level. Now, again, I would exercise caution taking along. Also, same thing with taking shorts too. Be very careful. These liquidation wicks are very aggressive, and they can stop you out pretty quick. Okay? So be sure to use low leverage, low position size so you can sustain these type of movements. Because when you start using 20, 30, 40x or even above, which is an option, of course, you can run into some trouble because these little liquidation hunts come in here and just wipe you out, right? In fact, let's take a look at that. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and show you some things here. So first of all, on our charts, what we can see here, of course, is the price decreasing. We're starting to see this descending trend. But what I have on here is the liquidation levels for shorts and longs. And what we want to see here, of course, is regarding the long positions. You can see a lot of positions have been closed here. So there's some folks that closed their position at 28,500, all the way as low as 28,100. In other words, those prices haven't been hit yet, but these are liquidation levels. And what a liquidation level is basically a closed position, whether or not it was triggered. Okay, it could be something that they closed themselves or it was forcefully closed. We can see some forced closed here is 28,900. That was probably one of mine, by the way. It does happen sometimes. And then if you take a look, of course, at the other places, we saw a strong support at 29,300, which we're right now there at. So what that does tell us here is right here at this level at 29,400, that's probably going to be a strong resistance because that was a previous support. That's a place in which a lot of folks got liquidated during that time frame or they closed their positions at that time. Okay. And furthermore, too, we can see for as far as longs are considered or correction shorts to the upside, if you have a short and there's a lot of levels here, but generally speaking, most of the shorts are hedged at 30,000 even. Okay. So we need a candle wick all the way up to 30,100 or higher to force all those shorts to close. Okay. So that kind of tells you where the shorts are hedged at. And same thing with longs too. There's a good chance that they are kind of putting their stop loss somewhere in the 28,000 range. But as the price goes up, so does the stop losses, and we're starting to see more accumulation at about 28,500. That seems realistic to me. I think that's going to be a case in point where we see our new bottom is 28.5, and that could effectively be a place in which we'll see the price bounce. Okay. Again, just some things to kind of think about. Quickly to note here, of course, whales are in control. They're absolutely maintaining the price action. Same thing with the liquidations here. We can see more shorts getting liquidated in the last 24 hours than longs. Big surprise, we already know that, but generally speaking, if you look at the amount of long positions being opened, a little less today than yesterday. Okay, so I would say as the price goes down, obviously they're a little more concerned. We can see more shorts being closed than open today, which does tell us there's less selling pressure at the current price point as of right now. Okay, so again, this is not 100%. Don't get me wrong, this is based on specific exchanges. It's not an aggregate amount, but it does give us an idea of where things are kind of focusing. So when we take a look at net longs here, we can kind of see with the net longs that there are some longs underwater. We got some late longs at 29,500, and they're, I wouldn't say soon to get liquidated, but they are not doing great. We got some super late longs, which are doing better at 29,200. So 29.2 again is kind of that point of contention. If we lose 29.2, I think we're going to see further downside. To me, I would like to see a closure below or correction above 29,200 today to have any chance of sustaining the current price point. Shorts, of course, at 29.5 are doing pretty well, but once again, anything could happen at this point. There's some liquidations that did occur here right at 29,300. So this could even just be closed positions taking profit. But once again, it kind of gives us a perspective on what's going on in the back end. And let's take a look at the hourly and kind of wrap this up, because this is where things do get interesting for me, because we are kind of traveling into a safety zone, but also we're losing momentum. So Long story short here is we're above the cloud, which is positive, right? However, we maintain this price going sideways here, we're going to inevitably be below the cloud. That being said, our conversion line is below the baseline, so we've lost our momentum. Obviously, you can tell that, and lag expands in the price action. So this basically tells us there's 2 out of 3 reasons not to take a long position at this exact time. Furthermore, I kind of retract the closing above 29,200 today. I think I'd much rather see a 29.4 closure or higher above this 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level, because what that would do for us is that would put us above the cloud naturally, and then we'd be able to probably continue higher because we'd be establishing higher lows. That said, if the price just goes sideways from here, we'll be stuck below the cloud, and in turn that could be a more short-term biased. Okay, so again, at this point we're kind of on the fence, right? So I would love to take a trade. I have kind of a long position consideration, at least I have. But now that I look at it, honestly, there's a lot of conflicting information, and in truth, while this does seem like a juicy target, and the price very well should bounce off 29,200. That is a stronger Fibonacci retracement level there. There's also an equal amount of possibility the price goes down from here too. Again, the overall trend is down. We need to recognize that. Okay. While we did address that, on the weekly and the monthly, we have some positive sentiment. When I say the overall trend is down, I'm more so referring to the next couple of weeks or less. Because I don't think we're going to be able to continue too much lower than 28.5. That's my personal opinion. So if the price does bounce off that level, or we get in along there, I'd much rather along there than an unfortunate long right now. Again, it's no guarantees that the price is going to continue lower. It could very well bounce from here and miss our opportunity. That happens all the time. Okay? Like if you want endless amounts of missed opportunity, trade cryptocurrency. Right? That's just kind of the bottom line. You'll never catch it all. But in this regard here, we've got too much things going on where it would be best to kind of wait for a little bit more confirmation. I'm not super big fan of buying the dip when the cloud is kind of curving up like this and we lost our momentum. I don't think that's appropriate. And then if we take a look at TD sequential here, we're 4 hours into this continuation. And while Bitcoin hasn't been very consistent on hitting 9s on TD sequential, we could very well see another 5 hours of downside. Okay? So to me, I'm more so interested at the 29,000 range, perhaps even 28.5, to catch some kind of long position in that range. But again, that's just me. We will see what happens here. I hope this served you well and you find benefit. Again, make sure that you register for our BingX exclusive offer. It's only available until July 31st. If you have already, you'll be eligible for all of my copy trading events, and more so, we have trading competitions in the near future. But you just want to unlock these little bonuses. They're very nice, quick and easy stuff. But mainly, the reason why we partnered with them is because Bybit, Bitcoin, trading Bitcoin on Bybit, Binance. A lot of different exchanges are requiring KYC. KuCoin, for example, and a lot of my U.S. residents and my Canadian residents don't have anywhere to go, and BingX has got you covered. There's no VPN or KYC required. So just a heads up on that. Obviously, you want to become a better trader. CryptoCash.tech is a site. We have, of course, copy trading here, and make sure if you could help us grow our Twitter community too. It's really great to be able to interact with our members there and just have a good medium for us to be able to communicate. Thanks again for joining me here. Hope you have a good rest of your day. We will see you in the next one. Take care.